Hey guys, we're back talking about more plot holes or more problems with Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker, the movie, and its various book counterparts who just can't get their stories straight. It's as if the writer was like, "Nah, I'm going to just rewrite stuff now. This is my story. I'm going to do it my way." Which is not necessarily a bad thing, but you're now creating problems in not only episode 9 but now episode 8. So this is all regarding Luke's X-wing on Octo that's in the water. You see in the picture here, and how the devil Ray was able to fly it because it's been submerged in water for 20, 30, 40 years, and it's been told not to work. Like that's the point. So this is apparently a good thing by this author, but I don't know if they understand what's going on here. The novelization provides an explanation of the film's plot hole regarding Luke Skywalker's X-wing. In the movie, Rey returns to Ahch-To after a duel with the intention of living the rest of her days in isolation. Of course, she is. So after she lands and starts lighting the stolen TIE fighter or TIE interceptor, whatever ship she stole from Kylo, lights it on fire. Then she throws her lightsaber into the fire, and then there's Luke to come out and save the lightsaber because, lightsaber much more important than fully functioning spaceship that you need to leave the bloody planet with. Would have been nice if Luke stayed and, stayed a bit earlier and say, hey, I'm here now. Don't light that spaceship on fire. You need to go save the day. So bad on Luke there, but yeah, no, he likes catching lightsabers now. Before he liked throwing them away, now he likes catching them. That's what you do when you learn your lesson. You die and come back to life, and you have all the right answers apparently. So, so she destroys the Tie Fighter, and now she can't leave. So Luke uses his amazing dead Jedi ghost powers to lift the X-wing out of the water. So the only problem with this is that it was appeared to retroactively create a Last Jedi plot hole, and this is in regards to the Last Jedi art book. So I don't know what was done in the art book in difference to the Episode 8, The Last Jedi movie, but apparently Luke had destroyed his X-wing when he got to Ahch-To. So based on the info, the ship should not have been able to fly, should not have been able to work at all. Never mind being submerged in water for 30 to 40 years. In case you don't know, electronic equipment does not like water. Neither does steel. These things corrode. It takes time, but 30, 40 years is plenty of time for things to break. So, in the book, the novelization again of episode 9, here's what the author has to say about how Rey fixed this problem about the X-Wing. It was old tech. It had taken some fast thinking and even faster fingers to get it flight worthy. The wing patched from the door to Luke's hut. Okay, so imagine you have this X-Wing and it's in pieces. It's been submerged, it's rusted, it's basically a pile of trash. Rey somehow, and I don't know how this works or why this was done, she took the metal door off those huts, Luke's hut specifically, and somehow melted it into the wing of one of the four wings of the broken X-wing to make it aerodynamic. Like what does that do? Why would you need to have an X-wing wing to be repaired for it to be space worthy? I don't even know what that means or how that works. But maybe it's an atmospheric thing. Maybe you need a wing to leave and enter planet atmospheres. I don't know. It makes no sense. Why would you repair the wing? Is there some maneuvering thrusters on the wing that it needs some physical structure to be repaired? I don't get it. And of course, she could just weld stuff together with her force powers because, she's God. So that's one crazy thing. All right. So taking a door and turning it into an X-wing wing out of the four wings, apparently only one was busted enough to use that. Okay. So crazy idea one. Crazy idea number 2. Shield panels scavenged from the TIE wreckage. Okay, this is not a wreckage. This is a burning heap of metal that she threw her lightsaber into. I don't know how steel burns that fast. I don't know how this works. But you don't just say, oh, look, charred remains of spaceship. I can use this for older spaceship. And it's a shield panel, whatever exactly a shield panel is. I'm assuming it's a planetary entry shield panel, like for heat. I mean, we have to make this thing space-worthy, so it has to be airtight. All the problems with space travel, like thermal energy storage, not losing heat, keeping certain rays protected, so radiation, all these magical properties of shield panels, whatever that is, scavenged from a burning husk of a TIE fighter, just somehow just slapped together. It's just bizarre. And after all this, so we have these 2 major crazy things that Rey can fix, and a hefty amount of rewiring. Okay, this is where my brain just goes, stop. This is just stop it, okay? I can sort of buy Luke's hut door being a hunk of metal that could be welded with the Force or whatever. It's like, fine. Very simple operation, need a lot of heat. Weight management, who knows? Fine. Shield panels, that's really stretching it. That's way too much. Especially from a newly burnt TIE fighter. But now we're talking about electrical engineering. And this is where I go, no, absolutely not. This is not possible. Not within a submerged spaceship from 30, 40 years. I don't care if it was a submerged boombox from 30, 40 years. That thing is toast. There's no electrical current that's going to work. Okay? Unless they have advanced electronic engineering like way far beyond our concept of copper and silicon and all these other wonderful circuit boards and things. But they aren't. Star Wars has not done that. Star Wars is very much dirty and rustic and all the stuff that we're familiar with in terms of circuit boards and silicon and plastic and copper. So, no. Sorry. I know that Rey can do almost anything, but that's just insane. She's not an electrical engineer. She's a scavenger, so she'll know how to take a door off a hut and use it for something else, but shield panels? Now she's an electrical engineer? No. She repaired or fixed the Millennium Falcon by ripping out a compressor or whatever that does. All right, that's not ingenuity. That's just tearing something out of its socket. So what this reveals off screen is Rey used her scavenger background. Yeah, sure she did. Scavenger background to perform electrical engineering on the fly. To perform some quick repairs in the X-Wing to get it up and running. That's insane. Carson makes a point to write in the same passage that the X-Wing is not fully functional in the slightest, adding, it might never fight again, not without help from Rose and her parts requisition channels. Okay, so she's saying that, hey, this thing is really busted up. It's barely seaworthy, or it's barely spaceworthy. And it's a miracle this thing even is working. And you have to spend a lot of time explaining how she did this with the hut door, how she somehow scavenged a burning wreckage, and how she became an electrical engineer with no resources. Like, they just rewiring. You can't just rewire stuff. That's not how it works. So whatever Rey did, it was the bare minimum just to get the ship off the ground. No kidding. This definitely helps. No, it doesn't. It makes things worse. It raises more questions. See, this is the problem that people think. Apologists or defenders or people who just love something say, oh, it'll get fixed up in the sequel. There are no more sequels. Oh, it'll get fixed up in the art book. The art book screws it up even more. Oh, it'll get fixed up in the novelization. The novelization creates more problems. You see, you either write well and properly or it's crap. Any other secondary source will screw it up. Because the question will always become, why didn't they just go back and rewrite the script properly? Why weren't they writing both at the same time? Why didn't the writer or editor catch this while they were doing the same work? Which makes logical sense. You pay a guy to write a script. You pay another guy to turn that script into a book. And they go, hey, you did this in the script, but I noticed that you didn't film that. Is that going to happen in the movie? And he goes, oh, no, we cut that out. It's like, oh, okay, great. I'll go change that because I was wondering. It's like, good. So there's a continuity. The two writers actually are following each other's work, or one's working off the other to make sure that it's consistent so that we understand what the hell's going on. There's nothing wrong with reading a movie or reading a movie in a book format and appreciating more detail. It's when those details start raising more problems than the problems they were supposed to fix. You see, that's not why you have novelization. You have novelization so people who like reading get to experience that on the go or at the night table or wherever they want to read, as opposed to watching a broken, made for everyone kind of movie experience. Okay, so in the book as well, the writer's admitting that Luke did indeed destroy the ship, and it had to be fixed before it could fly again. The timeline is murky when compared to the movie, so Rey apparently stays on Octo overnight before leaving the Exegol. Okay, so an entire night was spent. Oh, wow. She took a few extra hours to make a spaceship fly into space and have working hyperdrive and a big metal door turn into a wing and all this other electrical engineering amazing stuff happen. So this may explain why Luke didn't fly the X-Wing to Crate in The Last Jedi. Yeah, I'm going to go call that Rian Johnson thing. I don't think Rian Johnson actually wanted to do that or even thought of doing that. Because again, he likes lying to people. He likes showing you a carrot. You're like, nope, it's a pile of crap. So that's Rian Johnson. He didn't have the resources or the time to repair the ship, so he had no choice but to force project himself across the galaxy. Of course. See, now we're even trying to defend Episode 8, which is now just causing more problems. One of the more common critiques of The Rise of Skywalker, the film comes across as rushed. Yeah, and isn't entirely thought out. Exactly. For example, bringing back Emperor Palpatine as a clone, or a not clone, or something. We're not too sure exactly. The X-Wing scene is a prime example of this complaint. On the surface, it's cool to see Luke finally lift the ship out of the water. No, it's not, because he's a Force ghost, and Force ghosts should not be able to do that, but meh, continuity. But as presented in the movie, the sequence doesn't entirely add up with what came before, contradicting The Last Jedi in the process. Thank you. Yes, you see, you're causing more problems. Not to say Last Jedi wasn't perfect. But, yeah, just trying to fix problems makes more problems. This is a life lesson, people. This is not just for writing, okay? Don't try and solve other people's or other issues' problems. They're not your bag. Unless you're, a specialist, don't bother. The film makes it seem as if the X-Wing was ready for flight all along, which is why some took issue with the scene. An argument can be made by the movie almost definitely would have improved if this bit was included. This is a minor issue with the rest of the movie, but it's certainly a big problem. It certainly is I would even call it a plot hole, because we're trying to get from A to B, and all of a sudden Rey can get from A to B, and the scene is her just flying the X-Wing, and boom, she's in the air, and boom, she's already at Exegol, like so quickly. That's a problem in a lot of movies, or a lot of stories, really. So that would be a plot hole. Pausing the story to show Rey doing some speedy repairs may have slowed down the momentum, but it would have cleared up what audiences perceived to be a gaping plot hole. You know what? There's so many things you can do in movies with fast scenes, a montage of sorts, or music background, and just having her repair the thing. Showing the conviction, having some, there's some build-up music going, dun, 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 dun. Things that are coming together. She's gaining her momentum. She was at the lowest point in the story. She's given up, and all of a sudden Luke comes by and says, hey, you got to respect the Jedi. Hey, here's my ship. Hey, you got to fix it. You got to get going. And that gives her, it takes her, 4 or 5 minutes to get off her ass and change her mind because Luke said so. But, that's what the movie gave us. She could just, go back to being good. As if it's nothing, because she's amazing. That's Rey, the Mary Sue. You can repair ships like it's, She's making a ship out of Lego blocks, and it all just connects and snaps together, and voila, she's at the the climax of the film within seconds. It's amazing. Thank you guys for listening. Have yourself a great day.